Welcome to the no nonsense metal review of the latest album from these guys, Memoriam. Old school death metal from the Midlands, done in the true way, but kicking some serious backside. So, what we got? Let's show you off a little bit. So, this is the fourth album in 5 years. That is ridiculous rate of work in. If only, I don't know, Metallica could learn something from them, they might have made even more millions. So here we are. Cool artwork. So Dan Seagrave has struck once again. He's worked on the previous three as well. Pretty awesome. Nice shot of the band there. Probably a good point to mention the only lineup difference here so far in the band is the absence of Andy Whale. He's stepped out from behind the drum throne there and been replaced by a guy named Spike Smith, actually, who I will admit I'd never heard of until coming up to this album. It's just a cool booklet. I mean, the artwork in here is amazing. All over the thing. All over. So, yeah. Album number 4. How does it compare? Really well. You notice with Memoriam that from album to album, from For the Fallen, Silent Vigil, Requiem for Mankind, they appear to have gotten heavier. They've certainly matured in their sound. Definitely, it's these aren't amateurs. You know, these aren't young guys figuring out how to play their instruments. They've been in a few bands that people may have heard of. I don't know, Benediction Bolter, for example. But this is a band really solidifying their place, making their sound. It's a big leap, actually, from, I think it was 2019, Requiem for Mankind. Superb album, don't get me wrong. All of their albums are really good. Really good. They are cut above a lot of the things that are going on in the death metal world at the minute, in my opinion. But this is something else. The sound, again, just like Requiem, it's actually produced by Ross Russell, does a fantastic job here, but the sound on the album is so big in comparison. It sounds really full, it sounds bold, it's ambitious, it's really well produced. So I'm not going to analyse to death every track on this album here, but I'm going to pick out a few highlights, and I have made a few little notes. So musically, there's a lot of variation on this album. Actually, compared to their previous three, there is a lot more dynamicism, if that is a word, between tracks, and I don't think there's a better place, 2 examples really, better places to demonstrate that than each step, one closer to the grave, rather. Wow. If you think Death Doom, Asphyx style, I'm thinking Valenfire and their sort of more dirgy moments. Really, really good. Heavy, just mournful. It's excellent. Slow paced, yes. Gritty, yes. But the riffs here are absolutely superb. Scott Fairfax is a master, a maestro. Absolutely laying it down vocally on the track itself and on the album itself. Carl Willetts is superb. Absolutely no doubt. The other sort of more different number, because other than a few numbers from For the Fallen, you can't really accuse or even associate the sort of Death Doom banner to Memoriam. But on here, they're going all out. They're going all out on that one number. So the other one that's really interesting is Mass Psychosis. A good song, but just very strange. Think industrial, kind of, it's almost a bit disturbing Psychosis, right? I did actually think to myself, if this was Napalm Death in more recent years, you probably wouldn't have thought anything. Actually, that is kind of what it smacks of. There's that kind of strange, on their more odd moments, their more strange sort of style, mainly probably because the bass on this track is just so thick and so prominent. It's really growling in the background. It's this thunder. Excellent track, actually. Just a bit odd, just a bit different. So, and disturbing. So, other notes on here. Vacant Stare. Superb track. Very Memoriam in their sound. The riffs are galloping, pounding drums. I mean, I've never actually, as I say, come across Spike Smith before, but he is doing a superb job. He's all over it. Absolutely killing it here. Really, really doing a super job. And it fits in so brilliantly. Really good. I don't want to say it, but there's inevitably going to be the bolt thrower association, and I think on that number in particular, on Vacant Stare there, very, very much straight out the school of bolt thrower. That sort of short section of repetitive riffs, but just absolutely crushing, getting into the rhythm there. It's completely intoxicating, actually. It's gonna be a good live number, you can tell. What else we got here? Let me have a look. Oh, yes. Of course. No Effect. Probably one of my favourite tracks from the album, actually, so far. Really, really heavy. In a sort of breakdown riff kind of way. I don't want to ban that term around too much in an old school death metal review. I think most people, old school death metal fans, might not take too kindly to the association with the breakdown deathcore style, metalcore, whatever, hardcore, whatever the hell you want to call it. But the riffs, man, they are crushing. They're crushing. It actually reminds me very much of Requiem for Mankind, The Veteran. So if you got on with that, if you love that pounding, thrashing, bloody breakdown riff that just absolutely blows you away, you're going to get on well with that. What else we got here? Failure to Comply. Crunchy. It's got this huge anthemic chorus, actually. In a death metal way, if you can indeed have a death metal sort of anthemic chorus. But the way it builds up, it's got this huge atmosphere. And actually, you do notice that a lot throughout this whole album. Compared to the previous three, it's got a huge atmosphere to it. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy, but it's very atmospheric. The biggest, most notable track for atmosphere on this album is definitely going to be that closing track there. As My Heart Grows Cold. Yep, sounds as light and as cheery as the song is itself. It is heavy, but it's not overly heavy. They're not trying to rewrite the book on barbaric bludgeonings of the eardrum. They're not trying to upstage some of the young up-and-coming slam, brutal death metal bands. They are, in fact, writing atmospherically very heavy, very traditionally dark death metal. What could be better? What more do you need to say? To the end. Title track, again, you get that flair of the bolt thrower, that sort of melody, that rhythm is chugging, and it's freaking excellent. It really, really is a great number on a great album. Other than those numbers, I wouldn't really say there's anything too different. Not in a artistic exploration sense, it is death metal. It is absolutely death metal, but it is really well done death metal. It's well produced. It is dynamic. It's diverse. It's not trying, as I say, to rewrite the book, but it is their most mature album to date, definitely. Compared to the previous three, which are all excellent albums. I'm a huge fan, huge Memoriam fan, hence that tattoo there on the wrist. But this is a very solid album, and I think actually from here it'll be really interesting to see where the band goes, whether they will continue to get heavier, whether they will have to sort of take a bit of a break and scratch their heads, because this one is going to be a hard one to top, definitely. So fans of the band, you're going to love it. Fans of old school death metal in general, you're going to love it. What else can you say? Both Thrower fans, you're going to love it. Benediction fans, you're going to love it. Nah, doesn't matter. This is Memoriam, killing it in 2021. So yeah, thanks for watching No Nonsense Metal. Check back soon for plenty more reviews on the way.